see. And then, one day...
You got in.
That's right, man. I got in.
Man, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the BALLSVILLE podcast, episode 4.29. Going great so far. A quick round the room here. We have Chris, we have Jeffrey, aka Zubicus, we have Nick, Tennessee Nick. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Good.
Great to be here.
Yep, excellent.
We have a lot to get into, so we're going to move real fast pace and get right into it. If you're new here, welcome to the show. We are going to do a number of things tonight. We're going to give you a quick overview of some NFL news coming out of training camp. I'm sure that's all anyone's going to be talking about over the next week or so, or few weeks. We're going to make that brief. We're going to get into a Ballsville update, talk about some redraft leagues and how you can win a free entry at the end of this show. And we're going to do a little fantasy court, one of our favorite segments here. A judge, a prosecutor, a defender will debate a player at their ADP and find out if they're worth drafting or not. A lot to get into. We're going to start here with some camp news. I'm going to give you guys all these topics, and then we'll go around the room, and you can tell us what you want to talk about. First off, we have bad news. Chris Brazzell, my number one exposed player, he is out with an LCL injury that he's going to have surgery for that will end his season before it starts. So prayers out to Chris Brazzell. That's really unfortunate. But I have been taking Coker lately, and so his stock is going to climb. A lot of Niner news dominating the camp news. We have Shanahan, with his injury. I'm sure you've heard about that by now. He says he dropped his phone, and that's how it happened. Ricky Parasol with knee swelling injuries right off the bat. We have Jordan James with a broken rib, also unfortunate. On the bright side, we have Bosa and Kittle that are looking like they're on pace to be ready to start the season, and Dejon Stribling looking like an RB1 out there in camp. So a lot of 49er news. I have so Brazzell's my number one player, and Stribling's my number two exposed player. So good and bad. Also, out of Jets camp, we have JoJo's guy, Cade Klubnik, looking like impressing coaches with accuracy and his decision making. We also have Baker with no contract. He said he felt a little disappointed with what they offered him, a 2-year, less than $50 million contract. He will start the season on this deal. Bijan and Gibbs as hold-ins, and we have Chris Olave with a massive extension, 4 years. He's looking at $33 million a year, 132 total. And here's a sneak peek of something I saw today. This is the Ohio State receivers getting paid. So if you're a college kid, you want to go play for Ohio State, right? So a lot of news. Chris, we'll start with you. We knew we'd have all this action this week. What stands out to you?
Well, the surprising thing to me was how candid Baker Mayfield was with his displeasure at lack of negotiations and how they're turning out. He's all football the rest of the season. This is something that I think puts a chip on his shoulder to do well this year. So this might be good for the Bucs that they did it this way if they want to see results this year. And I don't think they're going to mind paying him if he does well. If this lights a fire under his ass, all the more power to him. It's a win-win situation, and it's a win for the organization also if he doesn't do well, because then they can just cut ties with him and bring in the next guy.
Yeah, great points. I actually agree with you. I like it when a player is playing for their next contract. It's a good motivator, and Baker is a stubborn type to let that be a factor in his production. What about you, Nick? You agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's they're basically telling him to put up or shut up, and he's telling them to put their money where their mouth is, and I think he has to just prove it. Yeah, I think the news that really kind of hurt me a little bit was Brazel, because kind of like you, Alex, I have a lot of shares of
Yeah.
them, and it's not something you want to see.
His only saving grace is that he is a round 21 ADP pick, which shouldn't have too much impact on your rosters. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll go back to you, Nick, on this news board. What else stands out to you?
So I was gonna go ahead and say it. He's not on the board, but you alluded him. Cade Klubnik impressing in camp. He's a guy who I think could overtake Gino's spot as QB1. Probably early in the year, and it sounds like it might be even earlier now if he's catching the eyes of the coaches and the staff there. I mean, it's not going to be a good job to have, but I mean, quarterback one in the NFL is nothing to scoff at by any means.
No, absolutely. That's a good point. And nobody's expecting the Jets to be, 6-2 in the middle of the season. So it could be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Zoobs, before we come around to you for your topic, I want to give a shout out to the crowd. Pretty good crowd to start off. We have Kendall Oswald in the house. We have Pressy joining us, Basham, Zach McClintock, Justin, Mrs. Barber. Nice to see you here. That means Mr. Barber should be here too. Sticky Picky's in the house. Kevin, my one of my longest friends in the house. So there's a couple things they wanted to talk about, like Kyron over Corum. You see Basham says here, that's a little precursor to what we have in store for you when we get to court. Yeah, that's going to be me and Chris. So so shout out to you guys. We're going to give away the keyword here in a minute. There's Todd. I'm here. Zoobs, we'll go to you. What topic stands out to you? What do you want to bring to everyone's attention?
I do not like this hold-in situation for either Bijan or Gibbs. It scares me when guys hold in or they don't show up to camp, either or, and they're not playing, they're not getting that conditioning. We've seen it a lot of times where that can hurt these guys, and I hope that those two situations get resolved real fast.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's always frightening. We saw what happened with McLaurin and his production taking a dip last year when he held in or out. I don't remember what that was. Chris, anything you want to add to that?
No, he nailed it right on the head. It's the conditioning. If they're not ready, you could see some early tweaks of injuries lasting for a while. And I would imagine Zubikis is more interested in Gibbs going to camp than Bijan.
I don't know what would give you that idea.
Totally.
It is good news for your boy Isaiah Pacheco, though. I mean,
yes,
show up,
Pacheco season full blast.
Yeah.
If anybody ever questions Zubikis' loyalty, he has been with Pacheco through thick and thin. We used to shout his name together, Pacheco. You can't say it without the exclamation mark. It's kind of died down since then, but there's hope. All right, moving on, guys. A quick detour to the bills section. We have paid a couple bills for the season. We've paid our Discord, including the Nitro subscription. We're always open if you guys want to help support and give us some boosts there. We can unlock some cool features for Discord. But we try to keep the cost down to a minimum. We are over 2,300 in free entries that we've given away for the off season. We'll have an exact number for you at the end of the year when we do the cash stock. You'll know how many. That's cash that gets collected throughout all of our hundreds of games that we create ways to give back to you, including the mini games that we'll talk about in a minute. The StreamYard, that money's been accounted for. Our treasurer, Miss Sarah, is going to pay that bill that is due mid-August. And that's going to be it. And then we'll do the cash stock as soon as we seal up redraft. And then that's going to give us a balance for our Brass Balls contest. That's our manager's incentive where we play for some leftover money once all the bills are paid, all the insurance is done. That's how our managers stay motivated to provide these leagues. And we're going to tell you how you guys watching can get into one of those spots. All right, so redraft. We are on league number 7. This is after 6 leagues. Our bonuses are $300 added to the game championship, so you can win 210 out of the league, 300 for the game champion, 120 for wagering. That process is set up. We started with the free entry, and we're going to have another one 2 nights. Nice, shiny free entry for you. And the word for tonight is going to be, what do you guys think it is?
Redraft.
Ballsville.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Ballsville. Pacheco. Oh, man. We needed that foresight. So, yeah, big, shiny $25 entry to anybody watching that supports the podcast. Don't forget to leave a comment. Your comments are going to be tallied up for all the videos we do in July and half of August, and that's going to be part of how you get into the brass balls. So enter Ballsville in the chat for your chance to win at the end of the game. For the auction leagues, well, before we get into the details here, let's just let some of the soundboard folks tell us about it. Here's a little video from Sarah and Tanner.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks, Alex, for letting us do this again. We have just completed our first 3 auction drafts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are going to have 3 more this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so hopefully you guys can join. We're just going to do a quick analysis today on basically all 3 of the ones that we did. We'll talk a little bit about showcasing some new strategies moving into the next weekend and just kind of highlight some teams and some picks that, we thought we might want to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a look. First off, we have auction 1, Scrooge McDuck. Both you and I were in this one. We like to take a lot of the same guys, so we get into some bidding wars here and there. One thing I remember specifically is that you nominated Justin Herbert way too early on purpose so that he would go for a high price, and I couldn't get him because you knew I was waiting for him to drop.
Of course. I always have to do that. Always got to do that. The 1 or 2 guys that I know someone wants, because why not? I mean, gotta get a little bit of competition in there, right?
This is the way you go. When you start playing with people that you can start using some new strategies. So look, you and I had never auctioned with most of these people, so this was fun to learn. But look, this is the one thing about auction 1 and auction 2, Friday and Saturday. They were both pretty standard auctions. They went fast. They were really good. Everyone was active. I just want to do a quick highlight on just kind of the average on both 1 and 2. This was about the average price of your kind of top-ish 3 guys. Jaden Daniels is in there because he went a little high in this first one. The second one, he was a little bit more down, I think around 23. But this was, Josh Allen going for about 32, Drake May on 27 is pretty good. That was pretty good. I know Chris was a little bit disappointed with the way he drafted because he spent a little too much at the beginning, but he did also get Josh Allen and Drake May. So you did spend up on those 2 guys. So you expect that you're going to have to stay a little low for the rest. And that's okay. That's not, bad or good. Another average price that we saw in both 1 and 2 was going to be Gibbs and Bichon. I think they went for almost the exact same price in both. And it's really funny because you were talking about, Tanner, how weird it is that Josh Allen and Bichon and Gibbs are usually the top 3 in a redraft or in a snake. Yet Bichon and Gibbs goes for like a solid $10 more than Josh in the draft, which is wild. And I just wanted to see if you had any ideas on, why you think that might be.
I think what I've chalked it up to be, which I do find it very strange, to be quite honest, because in a snake draft, in terms of value, they should be about in the same plane. But in auction drafts, it's kind of what goes back to our previous podcast of, with people's different strategies, they tend to favor certain positions over another. And I think with the disparity between the top running backs like Bijan and Gibbs compared to the top quarterbacks like Josh Allen or Drake May, in this case, those mid-tier guys are a lot closer to Josh Allen and Drake May than there is from Bijan and Gibbs to let's say a guy like Josh Jacobs. It's a huge gap. So I'd have to think that there's a little bit of a mental game in that aspect that people people really want those top guys.
For sure. No, I hear that. Yeah. And running backs seem to be people's favorite thing to spend up on for some reason in auctions. It's just kind of how it goes. Okay, so let's take a look here at A2. Now, A2 was another very typical kind of thing. You have Josh Allen here going for a solid $32, just like last time. Let's see, Lamar went for 23. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty clearly, but really we don't need to go into all of it. One of the things that stands out to me is that the tight ends tend to be pretty much the same usually too. If you see here, Gonzaga paid 22 for Bowers, which is pretty high, I would say, in a non-TEP league to pay for a tight end, but it happens. Some people love who they love. McBride going for 16 looks like a steal compared to that, but I have to say McBride at 16 in a non-TEP league is probably pretty average. I don't know about you. Does anything to you stand out in here that you want me to bring up before we get into the crazy A3?
No, I don't think anything particularly stands out to me. I think the draft seems pretty on point with how a lot of players should have went. So I think it was a really good draft.
Agreed. And I just want to show one thing about an overspender versus a balanced mild spender. So I'm a balanced mild spender. 23 is the highest I went for anyone. 17, 16, 16, 19. These are all like pretty much like as high as I want to go in my drafts. And in comparison, let's just take a look because we already saw 32, 43, 26, 22. Like I'm not doing that, right? Like I'm never going to pay that much. I don't think you usually pay that much unless you're in a big hurry, which happens.
Yep.
But those are the differences here, like between that kind of like middle ground and that overpay stud and dud kind of strategy. And while this is open, I did just want to mention that JSN went for 30, which is a little higher than I'm used to seeing. And Jamar Chase went for 39, which is a really high price. We don't usually see wide receivers going for that much in a $200 budget. So I did just want to point that out. That's a little bit more rare. But let's talk about rare because I'm not going to lie. Okay, auction number 3, Dr. Evil. It was such a wild draft, and I'm so glad I wasn't in it, to be honest with you. And you were, but looking at the results of this was so crazy because everybody seemed to overspend. I think there might have been 2 or 3 people that looked like they actually held out on their money, and they got the most amazing deals on these guys. So let's pop that open real quick. All right, so Option 3, Dr. Evil, was madness, in my opinion. This was so wild because let me just open this up real quick. So, all right. So Josh Allen went for 42. That's $10 more than we saw before. Lamar Jackson went for 34. That's $11 more. Burrow, 28, which was like about $8 more. Dart's pretty average. And, Daniel's pretty much average. But that alone tells you like there's a bit of a difference here, right? But this was a big one. You shared this one with me, and I just looked at Alec Pierce. That's normal. $7, fine. But getting Dobbins for 4 and Jordan Love for 7 is so crazy to me. And I was like, okay, I need to look a little bit deeper here. And I just have to highlight Alex's team. Okay. So let's go down here. Purdy for 14. JT 30, a little bit high, but not bad. Javonte Williams for 17, great deal. Pickens for 23, a little high, but whatever. Let's just scroll down till we see Wan'Dale Robinson for 3. Like, okay, clearly everybody started running out of money here because I scroll down and I'm just in shock here looking at Kraft going for 4. He's going to probably be a top 5 tight end. After paying 16 for Loveland, okay, who's, again, also going to be up there in the top 5 tight ends, at least we think. And then have only paying 4 for Kraft, 4 for Laporta, 1 for Kittle, 5 for Darnold. And then he just went and just stole all the QBs because why the heck not? Nobody else can afford them, apparently. People overspent so much that they couldn't even get themselves enough QBs because Alex was over here saving his money and saying, like, I'll take them then. You don't get them for $1.
Wild West.
And then why don't you break down Justin's for me and tell me why you thought his team was so strong as well?
Well, number one, if you direct your attention to the bottom here, he got Matthew Stafford for $5, CJ Stroud for $6. He, his wide receivers, I'd say he got them for about average cost. I think he actually kind of overspent on Kyron, but he made it up for getting number one, Jordan Addison for $3, RJ Harvey for $4, DK. Jake Ferguson $1, so it kind of shows, and it's funny. It doesn't show it in this draft, but the Alex and Justin, they didn't actually even really play the save their money role. They were betting the entire time. I'd say this was one of those flip the script on its head type of drafts, because everyone was betting all the time, and it was actually a lot of fun. But you can tell that they went from one strategy to another strategy mid-draft, which I think is a great point to make for these, that you cannot go into this thinking you're going to go one way, one linear way, and it's going to work out, because I promise you will not get the guy that you want, and you will end up either spending up or saving too late. And Alex and Justin, I mean, they kick tail. I tip my hat off to them. I think that they had some great drafts. So this is proof of that. So
it's true. It's true. And I do want to say, before we get into our pro tip here, that Good Times also did really well. Even though there was some overspending between like Josh Allen and Puka, getting Mark Andrews for 2, Goddard for 1, Gadsden for 1. Rashid has been going for a really low price, and I don't understand why. He's such a clear-cut wide receiver 2 on that team right now with his contract with the other guys. I don't understand why he's going for so low, but whatever. But he actually has a really good team that he paid up for the guys he wanted, and then he ended up getting a steal on these tight ends who are going to be a great flex spot for him when, his wide receivers are out and everything. I think he could have had stronger running backs, but I think that was one of the better teams too. We want to move into a pro tip.
Well, I'd say the main driving point to make, and this draft is such a clear example of that, is you have to look at what other teams are doing, and you cannot just draft based off of players that you want in auction drafts. In a snake draft, you can, but in an auction draft, if you are not paying attention and strategizing based off of how the draft is actually going, you're going to end up either having one or two teams that are sky high in value compared to the rest, or your team is going to end up probably bottom 9-10 position. So I'd say the main driving point is, do not be afraid to be aggressive. Don't be afraid to bet. Do a bait and switch, as I'm sure Sarah also knows the term very well in auction. Don't be afraid. Bet them up, and if you save money, pay attention. Drive players' values up. Why not? Why not punish the teams that spent up early? If you're going to save, punish them. Drive their value up. Make them spend their money. The more money other teams spend, it will indirectly benefit you no matter what. If everyone spends their money and you're the only one with money left, then you probably won that draft. So that would be my main driving point. But I'd be interested on what your thoughts are on that.
I totally 100% agree. You and I both drive up prices on a regular basis when we're in leagues, and when we're in together, like that first one, they end up being about average prices and what they should be, because we're driving them up, because you don't want to let someone get Kittle for $1. That just is not something you want to do. If you've got enough money, you need to push it up. I did want to say that I did like Trujillo's team just all the way up to Pittman. So I think this is a great starting area here. Even though I don't think his bench is as strong as like Alex's, I do think Alex is the best team here because it's the most balanced with his. So if you didn't catch our video from last week, go back, check out last week's. We did a little tutorial on some strategies and why and when you want to use them. It's extremely helpful. It's a short video. Take a look. We really hope to see you guys in the auction drafts this weekend. Doing one tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully me and Tanner will be able to be in all three of them, but if not, we will be around. We will be watching. We'll be filling. So thanks, Alex. Back to you guys. Hopefully you guys have some takes on these auction leagues as well.
See you.
All right, man. So yeah, that was really cool. Those auction leagues are pretty fantastic. And that is a full payback league. It actually is going to cost us $10 to run those because we started off with a $10 free entry, and for every 2 leagues we fill, we give away another one to one of the 20 players that are in those 2 leagues. Chris, Zoobs, you guys are in it. Chris, you like these auction leagues? How many of them do you plan on doing?
I'm gonna probably do all 3 of them this weekend. I need redemption because League One, I did horribly, so I need to redo my good name here.
Yeah, I smashed A3. They're right. I knew they're gonna like it. That worked out well. Zoobs, how did your auction go?
I loved my team. I was in the first league we did, the first auction we did too. So yeah, I kind of like they said, I bet up on some people that I wanted. I got the people I wanted. I let some people go. I was like, nope, that price is too steep for me. So I do like auctions for that reason, because you can really, if you want somebody, you can get them. I mean, you just gotta spend your money for them. So yeah.
Yeah, true. Everybody has a shot at it. We had a question in the chat. How do you know what your exposure is on Sleeper? Well, we have tools on the website, theballsvillegame.com. You can go on there and check out Sticky Picky's fantasy football arsenal. He's updating it every day. It had a total makeover. It's fantastic. It really is. There's a lot of cool stuff to help you win. I'm not a fan of math and sports ball. Thanks, honey. Nick, you gonna get in on one of these auctions? Have you ever done auctions before? Is it your thing?
I have done them before. It's not really my forte. I'll let you guys have the fun this time.
Yeah.
So
it took me a while to wrap my head around an auction. The first couple times. Yeah, it can be intimidating too. It really can be.
They are 10 team leagues. They are $10 a piece. The leagues pay out $75, and then we build a progressive bonus. And then the other 5 that's missing, every 2 leagues gets a $10 freebie for those players. Like we said, every dollar that comes in gets paid out in one fashion or another. And we actually started it off with a $10 deficit. So just one of the cool things we wanted to introduce, not an official Ballsville game, but it would, project to be number 7. But we're going to try out some other cool formats too. We try those formats out in the brass balls coming up here in a second. But first, we want to remind you guys, these mini games, Ballsville custom mini games, these are worth $75 a piece. Week 1 is $50 because that's just a week 1 contest. This is the top 12 running backs. You're going to predict them, target hogs, the pecking order for ambiguous teams. These are all located and pinned in the Ballsville hub. Win totals, this is our manager's custom picks. You're going to tell us over-unders. And week 1, where we give you a lineup, you're going to give us over-under projections for them and tell us what you think they're going to score. Those are free to enter. That's $375 worth of custom mini games. And if you're in any of the early games, you're getting a custom survivor pool as well. And those are $100 to $250. So, like I said, 2,300 in free entries, and we're looking at another grand plus in mini games. So, a lot of the stuff that we do to give back to you, which leads us to the brass balls. Chris, you're familiar with the brass balls and how it operates. What do you want to say about it?
I've been in the brass balls for 1 season and I won, so I like the brass balls.
Zoobs, anything to add to that?
No, I mean, brass balls is a way that us managers try out some new kind of formats and stuff for the game, see if we want to add to the the Ballsville repertoire, and then we like to invite in a couple people from the games and let you come in and play with us and maybe win us some money from us. So I've been a manager for a while, and I love the brass balls because it gives us a chance to really talk shit to each other.
Yeah, and So just to elaborate on something, we don't have what people call a rake. And I know one of the big knocks against us is they're like, oh, Ballsville and their rake, right? We don't have a rake. We have a collective. So we gave you guys a preview last week. I can pull it up again of the biggest contributors to the Ballsville game. And you can see off this list, like 5 of us are managers. So we're the ones that are feeding these accounts. You play, you win in your league. The surplus that comes out of that league gets added to the bonuses, free entries, mini games, and then once all that is done, our quote unquote rake is the brass balls. This is how we incentivize our managers and give back to them, and all of this stuff is documented in the cash document. It's going to be a balance, probably around $1,000 mark. If somebody gets something, everybody gets something, but the winner gets a little bit more than the person in last place. So last year it was like $25 versus $350 or something like that. So it's on a scale, but you guys as community members can get into this brass balls entry. All you have to do, find our socials. For every comment you leave, we're going to give you a point. Every time you share a video, we're going to give you 2 points. If you bring somebody in and they join redraft or auction, we're going to give you 3 points for that. Every 5 points, we're going to put you on a wheel. We're going to spin it in the middle of August. That's going to be on the 13th. And then the winner there is going to get the 11th spot for the brass balls. For the 12th spot, if you guys are interested in helping us out with the management side, with running leagues, filling out spreadsheets, the work things, the best ability is availability. So if you're available and you want to learn how to help us out, you're interested, let us know. We'll talk to you. We'll pick somebody out, and they'll have an opportunity to come play in the brass balls for the year. Probably not eligible for the full payout, but if you're contributing, you're still going to win something. And that's how you can get that number 12 spot just by wanting to help us out, commit a little. So just our way of giving back. For the last 2 years, the winner of the brass balls has collected more than I've collected myself. And before Chris, I did a majority of the work. And I do it because I love it. And this is a fair, safe place to play. I don't need clout and I don't need the cash. I work 2 jobs. So that's what makes us work, right? Nick, you have anything to add on to that and our brass balls and stuff?
Yeah, no, I just think it's a cool way to develop a new format, and good luck to anybody participating this year, and hopefully it's gains popularity.
Thank you for that. And there's a lot of formats out there, one hit wonders that come and they try to do the whole big game thing and they fail, and a lot of that is greed. We kind of take pride in the fact that we are fully transparent. You're going to see what's up for grab in this brass balls. The cash stock will be prepared after we seal up redraft and we have all of our accounts in order. We'll present that to you. We have a running total right now. Ballsville, with its 400 plus games, has collected over $54,000 for the year of 2026. Very impressive. And that's how you get to year 6, is by being responsible and accountable. So, and a special shout out to our managers. Thank you guys. You do wonders. And that is our Ballsville update. Whew. All right. Let's just jump right into Fantasy Court, guys, because we want to get into some trade talks to end this, and then we'll do our freebie raffle. Again, enter Ballsville in the chat. Make sure you're in that poll, and let's get into some court.
Ballsville presents Fantasy Court. A player will be on trial. 2 sides will debate. The judge bot will rule. Court is in session.
All right, guys, what is up? If this is your first time joining us for Fantasy Football Court, this is a place where we present a player to you. The defendant, sitting in the defendant spot right now, is Chris on the light side. He is going to defend this player at their ADP. On the other side, we have the prosecutor, which is just playing devil's advocate Our first player, Zay Flowers. He's playing devil's advocate. He's going to argue why you shouldn't draft him at his ADP. And then our rotating judge will make a ruling. Do we draft him or do we not draft him? Our judge for the first one is Judge Nick. Hope you like that moniker. And our first player, guys, is going to be Zay Flowers, and he is being drafted at the 512 as the wide receiver 19. The prosecution will go first. Court is in session.
All right. So Zay Flowers. Let's see. We got a new coach coming in. Harbaugh's out. New coach coming in. Defensive-minded coach. So right off the bat, that's not good for your offense. You got 2 new rookies who are coming in. Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt. So now you got more competition. Let's not forget Mark Andrews is still there too. I know last year he ended as the wide receiver 7, but that was with 6 touchdowns. Over the last 3 years, he has 14 touchdowns total. That is not great for your wide receiver 1. Let's see. And then 2024, Zay was the wide receiver 25. You know who was the wide receiver 7 in that year? Jerry Jeudy. Do we think Jerry Jeudy is great? I rest my case.
Your Honor, Zay Flowers finished as a wide receiver 7 last season, the same season in which he only ranked 16th in total targets for the wide receiver position. That screams efficiency. He has finished each of his seasons with more targets, more receptions, and a higher positional ranking than each of his previous seasons. In 3 seasons, he has failed to miss zero games during the regular season. Availability is the best ability. He was being drafted as the wide receiver 16 in redraft and wide receiver 19 in big game leagues. Massive bargain value. I rest my case.
You guys put up some good points. I think just the fact that it's becoming a crowded room for tight ends, wide receivers. I'm going to give this one to the prosecution. Take them away.
All right. We have ruled in the favor of the prosecution. Do not draft Zay Flowers at the 512. We're going to switch roles. We now have Judge Jeff up on the stand, and the prosecution will be played by Nick. Next up to the board is going to be Bashal Tootin going at the 601 as RB19. All right. Prosecution, the floor is yours. Court is in session.
All right, Your Honor. YPC for life. Tootin had 3.7 on 83 attempts last year. There's no data to show that he'll be dominant as a rusher back. Chris Rodriguez, on the other hand, has season finishes at 4.4, 4.9, and 4.8 YPC yards per carry. If you're not aware, Your Honor, he'll be the one at the goal line. And if Tootin isn't special in the pass game, or if Trevor Lawrence and his receivers can light it up in the mid range, I don't see Tootin being as relevant as RB19. Jacksonville hasn't been a rush-heavy team as far as I can remember. They have 3 players who surpassed 1,000 yards in their franchise history: Travis Etienne, Leonard Fournette, James Robinson. And Fournette has passed 1,070 yards once. Maybe he does it in the passing game, maybe. But without that, we're looking at a bust to start the 6th round. I rest my case.
Your Honor, prior to the redraft season, Bashal Tootin was drafted as the RB25 in Ballsville leagues. He takes over the RB1 role in an improving offense run by an offensive guru in the form of Liam Cohen. Not to mention he was drafted by this front office. He already has the edge over Chris Rodriguez in the pecking order so far to start training camp. And let's be honest, Rodriguez isn't striking fear in any defensive front. Tootin's rookie season included 7 touchdowns on 93 touches. That sounds pretty good as the clear backup in 2025. What does that mean in 2026 as the lead back? He may not be a world beater, but as the RB25, is he really expected to be? The question rather is, if he is, did you have the foresight to see the potential? Drafting a potential top 10 at the 25 spot positionally is a league-winning formula in fantasy. Even if he's only RB25 at the RB25 spot, that isn't hurting you. Not even a little bit. Not at all. I rest my case.
Well, they're very good points brought by both here, but I have to say, I'm going to go with the defense on this one. Draft Bashal Tootin.
I need a retrial, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. And if you note the draft board down below, our next player is going to be in close relation to him. Next up is going to be DeAndre Swift. He is going at the 607. Find him. We have Judge Chris for this, and Nick is going to be the prosecutor. So Swift going at the 607 as RB18. Prosecutor, the floor is yours. Court is in session.
All right. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, DeAndre Swift finished last year as RB15. It took him X amount of touches, 10 touchdowns. The 2 years prior, 6 touchdowns and 6 touchdowns. If he scored 6 touchdowns instead of 10 last year, he would have finished as RB22. In addition, he started the season with an 81% snap rate in game 1. He ended the season with the 50% snap rate in the playoffs. So what changed? Colson Loveland and Luther Burden got acclimated to the offense and became a factor of how that team wants to play. That is what I expect from the room this year. If the Bears have success, it will be in the air with Caleb Williams and his pass catchers. If they don't have success, you're hoping for DeAndre Swift to get his production in garbage time. Oh, and did I mention Kyle Monangai? I rest my case.
Your Honor, I'd like to start with Kyle Monangai, the 7th round pick for the Bears. 7th round picks is what we're scared of here. Come on. Now, I will admit, although Kyle Monangai had some good games last year, he's not the lead back there. It is DeAndre Swift. We're talking about a ascending offense with a incredible head in Ben Johnson, who knows DeAndre Swift in and out from his time with the Lions. DeAndre Swift came in as the RB15, and I think he can definitely outperform that with just a little bit more touchdown luck. 6 touchdowns, I think he'll get to that 10 touchdown this year.
You both give great points. I kind of tend to think that the offense will be more spread out and more pass happy going forward. It's hard to see Swift maintaining that value with Monangai up and coming. There's just too many ways to spread the ball out in Chicago. I'm going to have to say don't draft DeAndre Swift.
You made a good decision, Your Honor.
Hey guys, we got some breaking news. Ian Rappaport is reporting that Deebo Samuel just signed a 1-year, $7 million deal to go back to San Francisco. They now have Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel. They lost Parasol for a little bit. They got Stribling out there putting in work. Christian Kirk, I think, is also injured, but he's on the roster. All that's left is to bring Keenan Allen in, and we can have the graveyard league there.
Talk about the geriatric squad, man.
AARP.
So did we have a one day rise in Stribling, and now it's back down to earth?
I don't think so. I think Debo's probably going to be a slot operator. He's got a lot of talents after the catch, and they know how to use him there. I think Stribling might still have opportunities on the outside, hopefully. But you could be right.
Debo's going to be the water boy.
All right, so do not draft for Swift. Next up, we have this guy looks like a freaking undercover cop here. Let me move so you can see. That is Sam Laporta going at the 804, tight end number 5. We have Judge Nick up on the stand, and the prosecutor will go first. That is Christopher, and the defendant will go second. Court is in session.
Your Honor, I don't know anybody who used to have back pain. We're talking about a guy who plays football and takes hits coming off a season-ending surgery to repair a herniated disc. If that doesn't scare you enough, out of 9 healthy starts last year, 5 times he scored double-digit points, and 4 times he finished tight end 22 to 32. It's inconsistent production with a new permanent resistance to his production. And we know Dan Campbell wants Jamison Williams to be involved in the game plan. Anyone paying a tight end 5 price is ignoring the big red flag. I rest my case.
Your Honor, are we forgetting that 2 years ago, on his rookie year, Sam Laporta was the tight end 1 in fantasy? All reports out of camp are that he's healthy, he's good to go. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be there. So let's just think about this. He's on a great offense, who just brought in a offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, who, I don't know, what did he do for Trey McBride the last 3 years while he was there? Oh, that's right. Trey McBride is going as, tight end 2 off the board. So let's just think about that. Drew Petzing comes in. He's going to make Sam Laporta a priority in this offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown is 1. I think it's going to be Sam Laporta 2. Jamison Williams, who I love, is going to be a distant 3 in that pecking order.
He rests his case.
Interesting. Some good points. I could see what the prosecution's saying. I mean, the injury history is there with Laporta, but I could also see what the defense is saying. The defense, has some good counsel. This isn't like a little Joe Schmo public defender. I don't know. I think I kind of side with the defense on this one. I think Laporta bounces back, and the claims of McBride's success with the OC there back when in Phoenix. It's just facts you can't deny.
Collusion.
The judge, Nick, has ruled that in favor of Laporta. Next up, we are going to have Judge Zoobs taking it over here. Prosecutor is going to be Chris. The next player on the board is going to be Jaden Higgins from the Houston Texans with an ADP of 1109, going as wide receiver 49. That's pretty big. Here we go. Court is in session.
Your Honor, Jaden Higgins finished his standout senior year at Iowa State with 87 receptions for 1,183 yards and 9 touchdowns. That was college. In the NFL so far, he has a 60.2 catch rate. CJ Stroud doesn't elevate his odds to finish fantasy relevant at all. So there's no guarantee wide receiver 49 is a value. In week 8 last year, when Nico missed, Higgins saw an 83% snap share and was targeted 8 times. He turned that into 4 receptions for 34 yards. His wide receiver 26 finish was determined by a touchdown. He is 6'4". He could succeed there, but are the Texans going to have those opportunities? And are you sure Nico won't get those looks? Or even slow-mo Schultz? I rest my case.
Your Honor, Higgins really turned some heads last year in a year that was supposed to be a down year for the Texans. Higgins had 41 catches for 525 yards and 6 touchdowns. Not the best numbers, but it's pretty sufficient for a rookie who wasn't really on the dynasty football hype train going into last year. Now that he has turned some heads, we can expect those numbers to rise even more during his second year this season. Sure, Tank Dell might be back, but that injury was pretty gruesome, and I don't think it will be an injury that he could repeat those same numbers as to when he was not hurt. And the Texans didn't really sign anyone or draft anyone in the passing game. I expect Higgins to be a viable wide receiver too this coming year. I rest my case.
Good points brought by both of you. Although I do have my doubts also about CJ Stroud and his capability as a QB in this league. I do like what the defendant said, and I do believe that Higgins this year is going to make a good comeback as a wide receiver too. Draft him.
You're a good man, Your Honor.
Oh, hey, look, I'm over here now. All right, so we have ruled in favor of drafting Jaden Higgins. Next up, we're going to have Judge Chris taking the podium up there. Next player up is going to be Harold Fanning going at the 806 as tight end 6. Nick is going to be defending this. The prosecution gets to go first. Court is in session, guys.
Your Honor, John Madden once said, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. So what if you have 4 and you're the Cleveland Browns, a team that historically been the poop joke of the NFL? Now mix in 2 very talented rookie receivers to the mix. How important is the tight end role there? Fanning was tight end 6 last year, sure, but I recall a lot of yardage influenced by Myles Garrett. In 2025, he had 32 tackles for loss, 23 sacks, and 3 turnovers. That's a lot of opportunity for the offense that won't be there. You're hoping the weaker defense means more air yards, but is Shadur Sanders the best hope for meaningful targets, or Massage Watson, Gabriel, or Taylon Green? They will still be figuring out, and Fannin will be a victim of the circumstances in 2026. I rest my case.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Harold Fannin Jr. needs to be on people's radar now. Coming out of Bowling Green 2 years ago, he was not on a lot of people's radar, or he was not on a lot of people's radars, but he really turned out to be a solid pick and deserves to be a highly sought-after tight end going into this season. Even with Njoku in Cleveland last year and Booty Cheek Sanders as QB/Dylan Gabriel, Harold Fannin Jr. still managed to have 6 touchdowns on 731 yards with 72 receptions. Those numbers should speak for themselves. But if you want some added sauce, he averaged 10.2 yards per reception last year. As a tight end, that is huge. With the departure of Njoku and no real competition added at the tight end position, expect a strong workload from Harold Fannin Jr. this coming season. Sure, Cleveland added some wide receivers in the draft, but Harold Fannin Jr. is already an established player who came out of his shell last year. I foresee him having a big year of production this year. Mic drop. I rest my case.
Counselors, as much as I enjoyed your arguments, I feel like I'm a little biased. Fannin at the tight end 6 spot is too low. He's better than Laporta, who you argued is the tight end 5. I would argue that he's in the top 3. I say draft this guy.
I'm like Better Call Saul right here, you know?
All right, guys, we have one more player to discuss. And for this one, we are going to switch roles here. We're going to have 2 judges, Judge Nick and Judge Jeff. Chris will be the prosecution here. We have had a debate. If you've been part of our Discord, we've had a little back and forth about a player specifically. That is one Kyron Williams and his role alongside Blake Corum. So this will be Chris as the prosecution. You get to go first. Court is in session, sir.
Your Honors, Kyron Williams is drafted as the RB18 in big game and RB14 in redraft. Blake Corum is drafted as RB35 in both. People should be catching on to the massive upgrade in Corum over his hype over expected usage. If you believe the coaching staff, which says that a 50-50 split is imminent, like it's going to happen. A true 50-50 split would suggest at his current ADP, Corum is the better bargain, and Kyron is probably being drafted too early. In Corum's best games last season, he matched or exceeded Kyron's output on nearly half as many snaps. Take the bargain and draft some Corum.
Interesting. All right, guys. I had to come and defend my guy. This guy tallied 1,533 yards last year to go alongside with 13 touchdowns, even though he had 6 of those vultured by Blake Corum. I remember those drives. It was a lot of usage down the field, and the offense had the defense on their heels. And then Corum would come in with a nice 5.2 yards per carry on an exhausted defense, vulture that touchdown, and that's how his production numbers went up. It's just a pattern that I saw. Corum was effective, but he only had 8 catches for 36 yards. Meanwhile, that same 36 number was the number of receptions Kyron had for 281 yards. That role is definitely his. And now people are calling for a larger split with Blake Corum, but I think you're hopeful if you're going to get 60-40. Last year, Corum had a 29% snap share, while Kyron had a 68%. Thank you, Ronnie Rivers. So if that's a 40% timeshare, you're looking at just 8% less production for Kyron Williams. He was the RB9, and if you take away that 8% out of his 263 points last year, you're still going to get 242 points, and that would still be RB12. That's his worst case scenario, and he's being drafted as RB14, 2 spots behind his worst case scenario. I rest my case.
Well, I'll let you go first, Judge Nick.
Okay, yeah. After a long recess and a lot of deliberation, I don't know. The prosecution made some good points with Corum climbing, but the defense also made some good points. I think it's basically a 50-50 backfield, and like you alluded, Council Westlex, I think, his worst case scenario is even already better than the ADP he has now. So I'm going to give this one to the defense.
Oh, score one.
Couldn't agree more.
And you know what? I was paraphrasing what I wrote. I didn't even get to the part where they got Myles Garrett, the turnover machine, the sack machine. I mean, they're going to have plenty of scoring opportunities. And we could both be right, Chris. Corum could still be a value, and Kyron could be a top 12 RB, and we would both be right. So, fantasy court, guys, that's it. It's a cool little practice just to sharpen our knowledge on these players. We do our research and pass it on to you guys. We're about to the hour mark. We are going to let's do at least a couple trades here.
Trade talk. Ballsville is excellent.
The trade talk. All right, guys, we're going to bring your comments up on stage. You can tell us what you think about these trades, and then we'll pass it around the panel. We'll do 2, maybe 3. The first 2 are Chris Brazel trades, so very unfortunate. I was high on them. First off, we have Todd Barber, one of our good friends, getting Ramondre Stevenson, Jake Ferguson, Jordan Mason, and giving up Saquon Barkley and Greg Dulcich, one of your guys, Chris. We'll go to you first. Tell us how this trade went and who do you think took it?
Well, I think obviously the best player to me is Barkley still. He's got a couple years left in the tank. Dulcich will be probably Miami's tight end for at least this year. So for this year, it seems JoJo got better. I can't say that Ferguson is going to be a world beater, but he should be up there at least ahead of Dulcich. Mason and Stevenson together, you're gaining points by getting rid of them and putting Barkley in your starting lineup. So for the immediate future, I would say JoJo's got it, and there's no guarantee that after this season, any of the players that Todd got on top are gonna last longer than Barkley will for Joe. So I would side with JoJo's side on this one.
That's a good point. I have to agree with you. I think that there's a less than zero chance that all of these players are a lot less relevant next year. What about you, Zoobs? You agree with that?
Yeah, mostly. I wish Sarah was here because she would have a lot to say about Jordan Mason.
Oh yeah,
he is a Jordan Mason hater. Yeah, I think Joe got the better deal, especially this year in particular. And I agree with everything Chris said. Barkley's not done yet. He's got a couple more years as long as he, stays healthy. So, yeah, it's not a bad trade necessarily, but Joe got the better of it, I think.
What about you, Nick? You agree with everybody? JoJo's side?
No, no, I don't even think it's close. I think Todd won this trade. I mean, the reason, Barkley, I think he's got a year or two left in the tank. I mean, I think he'll be viable, but you've seen it's been a slow decline since they won the Super Bowl. I mean, Dulcich too. He was cheeks in Denver. He was cheeks in New York. Being a tight end one in Miami, I don't think that's that's a good accomplishment. That's like handing out a participation trophy to like a fifth place team. And I think Aaron Jones, his decline last year was obvious. I think Jordan Mason climbs up. Ramondre's got a year or two in the tank, and Ferguson, believe it or not, he was one of the top tight ends last year, and I know redraft leagues. So give me the top side.
I think he was tight end 5 or tight end 6.
Yeah.
And if one of those pass catchers goes down to Dallas, like he just rockets up. So
yeah, I mean, hopefully Dulcich proves me wrong, but I mean the statistics just aren't there.
Good point. I like what you said about the best tight end in Miami. I would say he is the sharpest crayon in the pencil box.
Yeah.
He might be their only pass catcher next year. Him and AJ. I mean,
yeah.
All right, moving on out of Kong. This is out of the Beast of Dynasty. Here we go. Barber again. Todd Barber, very active this week. Chris Brazel and a first. This was before the injury, obviously. He gave one of my favorites, Romo Dunze, and a second next year. We'll go to you first, Nick. What do you think about this one?
Before the injury, I thought Todd got away with robbery on this one, but after the injury, I think it's a little bit more in favor. I still slightly lean Todd's way. I know it's going to be tough to bounce back in 2027 after the LCL injury. Plus, you get that first. But I do like Rome, even though a lot of people are low on him. But I think it's a little bit closer now after the Brazel news being out for the year. But still, give me the Todd side.
This is interesting. Zoobs, let me ask you, if this was just Romo Dunze for the 27th first, which side would you rather have?
I do like Odunze. I think I've got him in a dynasty or two. So I'm pretty high on him, but that 2027, it's the old, hey, could be a boat in that box. You never know. And and everything we've heard, about the 2027 class is that it is a really good class. I mean, quarterbacks, running backs, there's a whole plethora of really good players who are supposed to just kind of influx into the league that year. So, yeah, I think I'd go for the first if given that trade.
All right, so I'm assuming that Brazel was healthy. He was going as high as a 2.6 in some of these rookie drafts. So if you consider that a flush with that 27 second, which it probably isn't because the 27 class is better, like you alluded to. But something else you alluded to is that first, if that turns into a franchise quarterback, then I can see this being in favor of Todd Barber, in which case I would consider it a split. I would take the Odunze side personally in this. Chris, what about you? Which side are you taking?
Well, to be honest, I want to know the difference between what that first round pick and second round pick is for picks between, because that could be an early second round pick, that could be a late first round pick. If that's the case, then Odunze clears Brazel by at least a round, if not more. So I like D Shred's side on this one.
Yeah, and Basham said it in the chat. Depends on what that first might be. I mean, everybody agrees. J Label, that's Jerry. Depends on how early the first is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we don't know that right now, but yeah, it makes a world of difference there. And I like to do that too. My first or my second. My first for somebody's second in a trade, and I do target weaker opponents in that move. Try to pick up a player, quote unquote, move back, but I mean, you're only moving back a couple spots if you do well. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, we'll do one more trade and then we'll roll for freebie and get out of here. This is out of Alduin, another Brazel trade. Brazel, Chamari DK, DeAndre Swift, who we talked about, a 27 first, which we talked about, and a second, giving up James Cook and Marvin Harrison to NACIT. We'll go with you first, Zoobs. Another Brazel trade here, man. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think there's a clear winner here to me, and I think it is the Brazel side, honestly, because you get the 20
pieces.
You get a lot two picks, a first and a second. DeAndre Swift, who I just argued for on the fantasy court, so who he's only 27. He's got hopefully a couple years left in the tank for him too. And Chamiri DK, he was interesting last year. I mean, he wasn't a world beater or anything on the Tennessee Titans, but I think him and Cam Ward kind of had a little bit of a they kind of got along a little bit on the field. So, he might in a year or two, he might be something. So yeah, I think I would go for the top player on this one.
What about you, Nick? You agree with that?
It's close, but give me the NACIT side. I like Cook. I think he really took a splash last year. I think he was like RB, like what, 3 or 4. And then I honestly, I think Marv, I think he's going to bounce back this year. A lot of folks are talking about that video, but if you could see that video, the quarterback's coach or whoever was throwing the ball was clearly giving Wilson a little bit more favorable of passes, and the passes to Marv were not
Good
as
point.
Yep. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty good trade. I do like Chamiri DK, but he came on as like a special teams guy who just kind of got involved into the wide receiver room and getting meaningful receptions. But it's also with the addition of Tate there, I think it's going to be more competitive. But yeah, definitely not a bad trade.
So split so far. We have one on each side. Chris, what do you think about this?
The NA side, this is a move you make if you're trying to be competitive.
Yeah.
And if he's competitive and trying to win a championship, and if he goes far into the season, that first and second will be late picks. Cook clears all the players by himself, plus at least the second. Harrison could be worth that first if he picks things up. I don't even think it's all that close. I would give the edge a little more than slightly to NA's side.
All right, so I'm gonna let that be the tiebreaker, 2 for NA side and 1 for Todd Barber. I'm not going to comment on the trade itself. What I do want to comment on is the discrepancy of the draft outlook. So we're dealing with rookies. We're about to enter the 26th season. Marvin Harrison, I mean, that was the Caleb class, I believe. So people were, quarterback comfortable, and they took Marvin Harrison over Caleb with that 101. Such a prominent prospect, one of the best in years. And he's having issues, and his value hasn't spiked since his rookie year. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have James Cook, who came in, and the big knock on him was he's undersized. He'll never be as good as Dalvin. And here we are a few years later. He's got a new contract with one of the best teams in the NFL, scoring touchdowns with what they said he would never do. And he's like a round 2 dynasty startup pick, definitely round 2 in a redraft. So you never know what you're going to get. It's a box of chocolates. Forrest Gump told us that. These rookie picks, I mean, Brazel could have been great. We could have been right. We'll never know. But me personally, I don't make a trade like this with my future picks until I'm in the middle of the season and I know I have avoided catastrophe. I have a runway. And then when I have a deficiency at running back, I would have rode DeAndre Swift like half of the season. And if I want to make a push, that's when I go after James Cook. You know, so just the trade in general, it could work out, it could not. As far as it is now, I would rather take the package. Anyways, that's all, guys, for our trade talk. We did 3 out of the 8 that we had loaded. We're going to come back over here and run our free entry raffle. 22 entries. Last chance to enter Ballsville in the chat if you haven't already. Good to see a lot of you guys pop in today. Very good crowd, very active. We appreciate you. Like the comment, subscribe, comment on it on this video after it posts. It's going to count towards your brass balls contest. Get into these redrafts. We'll see you this weekend for auction. Those only going to be 30 entries. Make sure you're one of them if you want to be there. Chris, you have anything to add before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, Highlander starts drafting Saturday, 6 p.m.
Saturday. I'm looking for it.
First 5 leagues. Let's have some fun drafting.
Yep.
Very excited for that. Nick, what about you, man? You got anything to add to that? Congratulations on the new position, by the way, sir, and the new haircut. We all noticed.
Exactly. No more mullet. But my last things to add, if you can, try to get on the Isaiah Pacheco train and the Marv train.
I dig it. Those might be wise words. We're going to clip that and revisit it at the end of the season. What about you, Zoobs? Thanks for being on, sir. We appreciate your work in the redraft leagues as the manager there. Tell us about what you're looking forward to here in this next week.
Yeah, come join me in the redraft this weekend. We got a couple more of the $25 that are open. Iceman is open right now, League 7. So hey, get in there while the getting's good, because those things are gonna clear out fast, and then we're gonna go with the 50s. So come see me, come join me, come find me. I'll get you in one of those leagues.
Absolutely. The current league is about I think it's 8 out of 12 paid right now. That is Iceman number 7. I'm in it, so come play with me. Come try to take my money. We'll see you guys there. With that said, we are going to have a huge episode before the season, and then we're going to get into a rotation with the soundboard. But that big episode, you're going to want to be there. So hopefully, we do a good job of presenting and promoting. But thanks for a great show. Good luck here. Let's get on with it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I have this. Oh, where's it? Do it. All late.
Hey!
Oh, Mrs. Barber. That is Mrs. Barber, Danae Barber. She's become a great friend to Ballsville, always looking out for us. Congratulations. A $25 free entry ticket will be in your inbox. For those of us over here on this end, we love providing these leagues, and we love to see you guys in these leagues. So go join Iceman.
Go use it on
See you next
Iceman.
time. All right, later, everybody.
I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see. And then, one day,